How to generate over 100 leads in one day. What's up, guys? Zach in here.
Rick in here.
And in today's video, we're going to break down how to get 100 leads in one day in wholesaling real estate. This is exciting, and we're going to share exactly how you can get 100 leads almost guaranteed this weekend if you put the work in. And just know, 100 leads is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's not for the faint of heart, but if you want to do 100 leads in a week, let's break it down. So I'm Zach in, this is Rick in. We run a 7-figure wholesaling operation together, and we're here to teach you wholesaling real estate absolutely for free. Before we get into it, do us a favor and smash that like button and subscribe to get the best free value from us, and let's get into it. So 100 leads a day, that's a lot. You know, it's not for the faint of heart, but it's something if you put your time, your effort, and your resources into, you can obviously get it. And there's a lot of easy ways, a lot of hard ways. There's so many different ways to do it. Really what we're going to do is break it down today. But really what we got to understand first is what is a lead technically, because people pull a list of 10,000 and they call those leads. They pull from like listri.com. Then there's people that like almost an appointment they call a lead. So in your definition, like what is a lead?
Well, my definition of a lead is anytime a seller expresses some sort of interest in selling their home. And that would go from a prospect over to a lead. A prospect is basically your big giant list. You have parameters in your filters. Say you got 5,000 people. The idea is to convert them to leads. What does that? When they say, hey, you know, Rick, Zach, I'm interested in selling the house. It doesn't mean it's the right price, doesn't even mean the right motivation, but that has to be, you have to have a basic qualification for a lead.
I mean, there's two leads in my opinion. There is just leads, quote unquote, and then there's qualified leads, right? Completely different. I'm not telling you to do 100 qualified leads because that's very hard. You know, we're lucky to get 100 qualified leads in a month, right? Because our qualified leads to closings insane. It's like 30, 40, 50%. But so a regular lead, in my opinion, kind of like our same thing with our philosophy in our business is if somebody's looking to sell the property, they say, hey, Zach, I'm interested in selling my house. Consider that a lead, right? And then we got to qualify a little more because once it's a lead, is this going to be in what category, right? Because this could be a good subject to, this could be a lease option. They could want too much and we refer to a realtor, make money. Like we love turning every single type of lead into cash money, right? Obviously own a real estate brokerage. So we can make money off of anyone who's looking to sell their house. That's the way we personally look at it. Could be different, obviously, for everyone. What you have to understand is we want to convert those into qualified leads. How do you qualify a lead? Basically, a qualified lead is basically a lead that is perfect for wholesaling real estate by asking the 4 pillars, the 4 questions: motivation, condition, time frame, price. If you want to learn more about that, check out the free wholesaling course at freewholesaling.com. That's our complete training on it. So the process of the lead is basically you get the lead in, you qualify it, you get the appointment, you lock it up, or you have to follow up in between, then you sell it, make the cash. So this brings us back to 100 leads a day. Seems stressful, but this is going to be our game plan for doing it.
So the first part in generating 100 leads is going to be taking massive action. I know this sounds repetitive, but without the action, it doesn't matter what you do before or after. It's not going to happen. Remember, if you're just starting out wholesaling, you have to have quantity because you're short on experience. So the only way you can make it up is through repetition. How do you do repetition? A ton of quantity. You can make all the mistakes you want in the beginning, but if you have quantity, those are the mistakes you're going to learn for and go from there. So you got to take the massive action. Now, you're going to fall in 2 categories when getting leads. Either you're going to have to churn on what we call the hustle or the sweat equity, which means you have little to no funds, which means you're going to have to go out and get physically active. How do you do that? Driving for dollars, pulling up any of the government leads, any type of lead that you can scrape. FSBO leads, Zillow leads, for sale by owner on Zillow. That's what the FSBO is. You have to go out and collect a ton of this data. And some of them you're going to have to get in your car and you're going to have to drive. You're going to have to spend gas money and hours. That's what they call sweat equity. The other way is if you've had some funds, maybe you flipped a deal or two, then you can take some of that energy and use some of the services to make it convenient and pay a fee to get a nice long list of prospects so you can quickly convert those into leads. The plus in that is it saves you a ton of time and you learn how to basically cultivate lists. The downside is you got to pay for them.
I mean, that's the truth. So you got money or time, right? So with the money, you can do huge SMS bulking campaigns. You can send tens of thousands of texts a day. You can have an army of 10, 15, 20 cold callers, cold calling really niche lists. Like if you have 10,000 probates for across the state of Florida, you're going to get very close to 100 a day, right? Like, but that's the thing. Somebody will go to like listrei.com or zachdata.com, pull a list of 10,000 high equity and maybe pull, I don't know, like 500 leads maybe, but like that takes like a full month. But if you do 10,000 probates, that's 5-10x the results there. So the thing is, if you want to hit 100 a day, you're going to have to find the leads because your time is the only constraint here. You only have 10, 12, 13, 14 hours a day if you want to get 100 in a day. You're going to have to do the best prospect to leads ratio. So that means if I have 1,000 prospects I pull from a list, what's the ratio of that many of a lead to that? So for example, I would probably say if you have like 100 driving for dollars leads, you could probably pull 4 or 5 qualified leads out of that, right? Like not deals, but like people that are interested in selling it, right? 5 out of 100, it's 5%. I would say that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, and I want you guys get overwhelmed with 100 leads. If you got to do the hustle muscle or the sweat equity is get in your car and do the driving for dollars. It's not as hard as you think to get 400 and 500 addresses. It's going to cost you hours and time. But remember, if just 5% of them will even express interest, you're going to have to do the numbers. So if I had 500 times what? 5%, that's 25.
Yeah. If you have an operation where you got 4 or 5 kids, that are driving for dollars all day, and then you got 3 or 4 VAs cold calling them, you can scale to a system, easily get 100 a day. And really doing that versus you doing it all by yourself, there's no fundamental difference. You're spending your resources, you have time or money to have people do it for you. And that's all you got to understand about getting 100 a day. Getting 100 a day solo, I should probably make a challenge on that. I think if you give me 15, 16 hours, I think I can. But it would take everything out of me, and I can't do that daily, right? But if I had 7, 8, 9, 10 VAs, and they were pulling probates across the country, that'd be super simple, right? And so the other secret tactic I could say to generate 20, 25 leads every single day without you really doing any work is going to be the power of networking, right? I go to Facebook right now on like the Florida real estate investing groups, and I could probably pull 20, 25 deals to JV in like an hour, right? So that's a big thing too. Now, you're not going to be making 60, 70, 80K on these deals, but if you find someone who's desperate, maybe they're a beginner, they don't have a good cash buyers list, and it's in a city you actually have a bunch of cash buyers, you can JV 50-50, make 5-10K on that, and you can easily get 100 of those a day. It's really what your network is, and your network is your net worth to a point. Like I can go here on this channel and have people send us deals, and we can get a lot of leads every single day with that. So the thing is, you need to go out here, get social on these social networks, start JVing deals if you have buyers in that area, and you can easily get 100 a day.
Yeah. So I started out JVing a lot of my deals when I started out. It wasn't a ton, but I got to tell you, every one of them was a gift. So if you have the ability to work with somebody else in the business and you're bringing value, they're bringing value, then like go for it. But you got to network. You got to talk to these people, especially if they have a property in your neck of the woods. That's where you can really help them out.
And last but not least, just understanding. So when you have 100 leads, actually people wanting to sell their house, if you're good at your acquisitions, if like you're elite and you're doing the right marketing, door knocking, cold calling, driving for dollars, you should turn those 100 leads into 10 deals easily. And these aren't $50,000 deals, right? Like 100, that's a big bulk, but you should probably pull 100K in profits out of that, right?
Yeah, and a big part of that is when you do these leads, a lot of it's based on timing. So once you've identified and qualified the seller, remember, some of these leads aren't going to work out today, but like 6 months down the road in the summer or the winter or the end of the year, and you've already built rapport with them, when they decide to pull that trigger and your sales team stays in their face, those will actually up your numbers. So it's not uncommon for us to get a deal sometimes 6 months or a year later. That's it. I feel like it's somewhat a gift, but it's something you already paid for, either with your sweat equity or your money. You got the lead, the timing just wasn't right, and you just followed up with them every 30 days or every 2 weeks. And finally, hey, Rick, Zach, hey, I'm ready to sell that house. Let's go. And after you do that, your quantity will help your follow-up, and you'll naturally get an overflow from your follow-up leads.
That's it, guys. So the question is, what type of action plan do you have to take to get 100 leads into your CRM, start filling them up, and getting some deals? Guys, this is Zach Ginn signing out.
Rick Ginn signing out.
If you're getting any value out of this video, please smash that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
See you guys.